Chloe Montgomery, at the age of 35, was already a legendary figure in the New York business world. With brown hair cascading in soft waves over her shoulders and a gaze that mixed determination with a hint of mystery, she was the embodiment of success. Her office on the 20th floor of a Manhattan skyscraper offered a breathtaking view of the city, a symbol of her meteoric rise. Chloe, the meeting with the Japanese investors was an absolute success. "They are impressed with your proposal," her assistant Mark said, entering the office with a triumphant smile. Chloe, seated behind her mahogany desk, responded with a nod, her eyes already focused on the next report. "Great, Mark, prepare the documentation for the next phase. There's no time to waste." Her professional life was a kaleidoscope of negotiations, meetings, and swift decisions. But outside the glass and steel walls of her office, Chloe faced an emptiness she couldn't fill. 2 years ago, a relationship she believed to be the love of her life had crumbled, leaving her with a broken heart and a deep distrust in love. On a cold October night, as she gazed at the illuminated city below, Chloe remembered Jack, her ex-fiancé. "You're too much for me, Chloe. Your ambition, I can't keep up," he had said on the night it all ended. Those words echoed in her mind, a painful reminder of lost love. Since then, Chloe had shielded herself from any possibility of a new romance. "I can't afford to be vulnerable again," she muttered to herself as she twirled a pen between her fingers. "Love is a distraction I don't need." Her parents, concerned, often encouraged her to go out and meet new people. "Chloe, you can't shut yourself off from the world," her mother insisted during their rare visits. "You need someone by your side." But Chloe remained steadfast. "My career is my priority, Mom. I don't have time for romance." In that office, surrounded by charts and reports, Chloe was invincible. But far away, the successful businesswoman faced an internal battle against loneliness and the memory of a love that had once made her feel complete. As the end of the year approached, the streets of New York filled with holiday lights and decorations, but for Chloe Montgomery, this was a constant reminder of her loneliness. The successful businesswoman who confidently led meetings and made crucial decisions during the day found herself lost in the Christmas traditions her family cherished. It was a cold December afternoon, and Chloe was in her spacious apartment decorated with elegant minimalism that reflected her personality. Her phone rang, and her mother's name, Elizabeth, appeared on the caller ID. With a sigh, Chloe answered. "Hello, Mom," she said, trying to keep a neutral tone. "Chloe, dear, we are already planning the Christmas dinner. You'll come, won't you?" "Everyone is looking forward to seeing you," Elizabeth said, her voice full of enthusiasm. Chloe hesitated. "Yes, Mom, I'll be there, don't worry." "Great. And Chloe, you know your father and I are just concerned about you, right? You work too hard. When will you bring someone special for us to meet?" This question, repeated every year, made Chloe cringe internally. "Mom, you know my focus is on work right now. I don't have time for relationships." "But dear, you're not getting any younger. We want grandchildren, a family for you." Chloe felt a pang of frustration. "Mom, we've discussed this already. I'm not ready for that yet." There was silence on the other end of the line, and then Chloe's mother sighed. "Okay, dear, we just don't want you to feel alone." Hanging up the phone, Chloe sat on the couch, looking at the Christmas tree she had put up out of tradition. The lights twinkled, but to her, they seemed lifeless, a reflection of how she felt inside. During these moments, she couldn't help but wonder if her dedication to work was worth the loneliness she felt. That Christmas, like the ones before, Chloe would join her loving and lively family, but inside, a sense of isolation was growing. Her parents' questions about marriage and children only deepened the divide between her real life and the expectations of a traditional family life they had for her. While she smiled and participated in the festivities, Chloe couldn't help but feel like a stranger in her own life, an observer of a world to which she no longer felt she belonged. Now tell me, if you were Chloe, would you listen to your parents and open up to love again? Would you continue your career without any openings for a new love? Or would you focus your love on something else? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. On Christmas Eve, Chloe Montgomery found herself alone in her luxury apartment, with glass walls offering a panoramic view of illuminated New York City. The festive glow outside starkly contrasted with the silence within her home. Driven by a sudden desire to escape her loneliness, Chloe put on her coat and decided to drive through the city, seeking some comfort in the Christmas lights and decorations. As she drove through snow-covered streets, her luxury car passed by gathered families, couples holding hands, and children laughing under the bright lights. Chloe peered through the misty windows, each scene evoking a pang of melancholy in her heart. So many different stories, she murmured to herself. And here I am, alone amidst them all. Lost in thought, Chloe slowed down as she approached a local park, where trees were adorned with twinkling lights. It was then that something unexpected caught her attention. A young barefoot boy playing alone on the cold sidewalk. On that chilly Christmas Eve in New York, the streets were adorned with festive lights. But for a young, barefoot and solitary boy sitting on the sidewalk, those lights were merely a distant glow. He remained there, immersed in his own quietude, oblivious to the season's frenzy around him. His cold, wrinkled fingers absent-mindedly played with a worn piece of paper, shaping it into different forms. Chloe Montgomery, having noticed the boy during her solitary journey through the city, stopped her car and approached cautiously. She could feel unease in her heart as she neared the boy, whose presence was a stark contrast to the festive spirit around. "Hello," Chloe said, her soft voice attempting to conceal the growing concern. "Are you okay?" Upon hearing her voice, the boy abruptly lifted his head, revealing his eyes. They were eyes that could not see but seemed to sense Chloe's presence with palpable intensity. He appeared surprised, but not frightened, as if a stranger's presence were an uncommon yet not entirely unexpected occurrence. "Who are you?" the boy asked, his voice calm but tinged with curiosity. "My name is Chloe," she replied, kneeling to be at eye level with him. "And yours?" "Ethan," he responded, turning his face in her direction, as if trying to see with his ears. Chloe noticed how tightly Ethan clung to the piece of paper, as if it were a talisman. "That's a beautiful airplane you have there," she commented, attempting to establish a connection. Ethan smiled a smile that illuminated his youthful face. "At my airplane, I make it fly," he said, moving the paper through the air, mimicking flight. A wave of emotion washed over Chloe as she witnessed the boy's innocence and imagination before her. "Do you like airplanes?" she asked, trying to keep the conversation going. "Yes," Ethan replied. "They can fly anywhere, away from here." Ethan's words, filled with a longing for escape, resonated within Chloe. She looked around, searching for signs of a caregiver, but they were alone. The sight of the young, barefoot, and blind boy sitting on the sidewalk on that cold Christmas Eve weighed heavily on Chloe's heart. She knew she couldn't simply leave him there. Something inside her insisted that she had to do more. On the eve of a cold Christmas in New York, Chloe Montgomery found herself faced with a situation that challenged everything she knew. Sitting alongside Ethan, the barefoot and blind boy, on the snow-covered sidewalk, she tried to understand his story. The cold breeze blew, but it was Ethan's story that sent shivers down Chloe's spine. "Ethan, where are your parents?" Chloe asked, her gentle voice attempting to conceal her growing concern. Ethan shrugged, an expression of resignation on his young face. "I don't know. They left me here, said they would come back, but..." His voice trailed off, leaving a heavy silence in the air. Chloe felt a pang of heartache. "Have you been alone here since then?" she asked, trying to maintain her composure. Ethan nodded. "Yes, I'm okay. People sometimes give me things," he said, referring to the alms he received. "But why would your parents leave you here?" "I don't understand," Chloe murmured, more to herself than to Ethan. That's when Ethan shared an even darker reality. "They used me to beg for money. People feel more sorry when they see a blind child." His voice was low, almost as if he were revealing a shameful secret. Chloe felt a mix of anger and sadness. That's terrible, Ethan. No one should use a child like that. Were you born blind? Ethan nodded. Yes, I've always been this way. But I hear a lot of things. Feel the world differently. There was wisdom beyond his years in Ethan's words. Chloe looked at the boy beside her with his wind-tousled hair and a face marked by innocence and adversity. She realized that despite his blindness, Ethan saw the world in a way she could never fully understand. I'm so sorry, Ethan, Chloe said. Her voice looked like a little bit laden with emotion. You deserve so much more than this. Ethan turned his face toward her, a sad smile playing on his lips. I'm used to it. It's life, I guess. Ethan's determination in the face of such adversity deeply touched Chloe. In that moment, she knew she couldn't simply leave him there. He had awakened something in her, a need to protect and care for him that she had never known she possessed. On that cold Christmas Eve night, the streets of New York were filled with joy and celebration. But for Chloe Montgomery, the reality was different. Before her stood Ethan, a blind and helpless boy whose life story had deeply touched her heart. Determined to do something for him, Chloe made a decision that would change their lives forever. Ethan, I'm going to help you. First, let's buy some new clothes for you, okay? Chloe said, offering her hand to the boy. Ethan smiled, a mixture of surprise and gratitude on his face. Really? That would be amazing. Thank you, he replied, his voice trembling with emotion. Walking through the illuminated streets, Chloe took Ethan to a clothing store. As they chose warm and comfortable pieces, Chloe watched Ethan with admiration. Despite his difficult situation, there was resilience and a zest for life in him that impressed her. After the shopping, Chloe decided to take Ethan to her home. On the way, she contemplated how to explain the boy's presence to her family, who held deep-seated prejudices and harsh judgments. Chloe knew she needed to protect Ethan from any disrespectful treatment. Ethan, I'll tell my family that you're my temporary son for the holiday festivities, Chloe explained as she drove. They can be challenging at times. I don't want them to treat you poorly because you're a street boy. Ethan nodded, understanding the situation. Okay, Chloe, I trust you. Upon arriving at Chloe's luxurious home, she introduced Ethan to her family as a temporary son, a story that was met with surprise but acceptance. During the party, Chloe couldn't help but be enchanted by how well Ethan adapted to the new situation. He engaged with the guests, shared stories, and laughed with a genuine warmth that brightened the atmosphere. Chloe watched it all with a smile on her face. Ethan's presence brought new meaning to the celebration, filling a void she didn't even know existed. She found herself laughing and conversing more than usual, infected by the boy's simple joy. Are you enjoying the party? Ethan Chloe asked as they sat down for dinner. Yes, very much. It's like a dream, Ethan replied, his smile lighting up his face. That night Chloe realized that the compassion that had moved her to help Ethan had transformed into something deeper. She saw in him not just a needy boy, but a kind soul with much to teach about life, resilience, and the true essence of Christmas. On that chilly December night, Chloe Montgomery opened the doors of her home, a spacious and elegantly decorated residence, to Ethan, the blind boy she had found helpless on the streets of New York. While Ethan marveled at the warmth and comfort of Chloe's home, she strove to provide him with all the care he deserved. Ethan, why don't you take a warm bath while I prepare something for you to eat? Chloe suggested, gently guiding him down the hallway. That sounds wonderful, thank you, Ethan replied, a grateful smile forming on his lips. While Ethan took his bath, Chloe prepared a nutritious meal, reflecting on the simplicity of his needs, a home, affection, and safety. Sitting at the table with him, she was moved to see the boy savoring every bite as if it were a treasure. This is the best dinner I've ever had, Ethan said, his voice filled with genuine joy. Chloe smiled, feeling a wave of emotion. You deserve this, Ethan. You deserve all this and more. The night progressed, and Chloe arranged a comfortable room for Ethan. This will be your bed. "I hope you feel safe here," she said, wishing him a good night. However, tranquility was abruptly interrupted the next day. A loud knock on the door revealed Ethan's parents, a couple who surprisingly did not appear to be in financial distress. They demanded that Ethan return with them. "Ethan is our son, and he needs to come back home," Ethan's father said with an air of authority. Faced with this, Chloe knew she could not let Ethan return to a life of exploitation. She was determined to fight for the boy's well-being, no matter what it cost. On that tumultuous morning when Ethan's parents appeared, demanding his return, Chloe Montgomery caught a glimpse of what it truly meant to be protective. As she confronted the couple at her doorstep, she felt a mix of indignation and determination. Ethan's presence had brought a new purpose to her life, revealing a facet of herself she had never known. "You have absolutely no right to treat Ethan this way," exclaimed Chloe, her firm voice echoing in the entryway. "Using him to beg for alms when he deserves a home filled with love and security? This is unacceptable." Ethan's parents, taken aback by Chloe's assertiveness, attempted to respond. "He's our son and we decide what's best for him," the father said, attempting to assert authority. Chloe looked at them with disdain. "Best for him? Leaving him alone on the streets, shoeless and cold? Is that the best you can do?" Ethan, clinging to Chloe's side, murmured softly, "I want to stay here. I feel safe with Chloe." She turned to Ethan, kneeling to be at his eye level. "Ethan, you are strong and brave, and you deserve much more than they can offer you." Turning back to Ethan's parents, Chloe was unwavering. "You are not welcome here. I will not allow you to take Ethan back to an environment of neglect and abuse. He stays with me." Realizing they had no argument against Chloe's determination, Ethan's parents left, muttering empty threats. Chloe closed the door behind them, feeling a wave of relief mixed with newfound responsibility. In the days that followed, Chloe's house, once a symbol of her solitary, work-focused life, transformed. Ethan, with his innocent laughter and uncomplicated joy, brought warmth and life to the environment. Their laughter echoed through the walls, filling every corner with a sense of home. Chloe watched Ethan playing in the living room, a smile touching her lips. "I never imagined my home could feel so alive," she thought. Ethan's presence not only gave her a new sense of purpose, but also brought out tenderness and affection she never knew she had. She sat beside him, helping him put together a puzzle. "Ethan, you've shown me what truly matters in life," Chloe said, her voice filled with gratitude. Ethan smiled, his face lighting up. "You're the best, Chloe. You're like a mother to me." In that moment, Chloe knew her life had changed forever. What began as an act of compassion had evolved into something much greater, an improvised but real family filled with love. On a cloudy winter day, Chloe Montgomery sat in her office gazing thoughtfully out the window at the bustling streets of New York. She held the phone with determination, ready to make one of the most important calls of her life. After a few moments of reflection, she dialed Edward Hammond's number, her trusted attorney. "Edward, it's Chloe. I need your help with something very important," Chloe began, her voice filled with seriousness. Edward, always professional, responded promptly. "Of course, Chloe. What can I do for you?" Chloe took a deep breath before continuing. "It's about a boy, Ethan. He was abandoned by his parents, and I want to adopt him. Additionally, I want to sue his parents for abuse. What they did is unacceptable." Edward, surprised by the unexpected request but sensitive to the situation, responded with understanding. "I understand the gravity of the situation. We will do what is necessary to ensure that Ethan has a better future. We'll need all the details about the case, and I will personally handle the adoption process and legal proceedings against the parents." "Thank you, Edward. This means so much to me and to Ethan," Chloe said, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. "Chloe, you know I'll handle this with all the attention and diligence it requires. Ethan deserves justice and a loving home," Edward assured. In the days that followed, Chloe and Edward worked together to build the case. They collected testimonies, organized documents, and prepared for the hearings. Edward showed tireless dedication to the case, driven by the injustice Ethan had suffered. During this process, Chloe's bond with Ethan grew even stronger. With each passing day, Chloe marveled at Ethan's resilience and joy, despite the hardships he had faced. She dedicated herself to creating a safe and loving environment for him, eagerly anticipating the day when she could officially call him her son. The story of Chloe Montgomery and Ethan reached its most emotional and significant chapter on a winter afternoon, with snow gently falling over the city of New York. Inside the courtroom, where their fate would be sealed, Chloe held Ethan's hand with a mix of anxiety and hope. The judge finally pronounced the decision. Chloe would be Ethan's legal adoptive mother. Mrs. Montgomery, as of today, you are Ethan's legal mother. Congratulations, announced the judge, his face showing a glimpse of a warm smile. Chloe felt an indescribable relief and joy. She turned to Ethan, her eyes sparkling with tears of happiness. Ethan, we did it. You are officially my son now, she said, her voice choked with emotion. Ethan, with a radiant smile, replied, I always knew, Chloe. You've always been like a mother to me. Exiting the courtroom, snowflakes gently touched their faces, symbolizing a new beginning. In the months that followed, Chloe and Ethan's lives turned into a series of discoveries and shared joys. Chloe, who had always been focused on her career, discovered a new world in motherhood. She marveled at every one of Ethan's milestones, every laugh, every moment of pure joy they shared. And then came Christmas, the first celebration they would enjoy together as a family. Chloe's house was lovingly decorated, each ornament reflecting the warmth and love that now filled every corner. Ethan, with his curiosity and childlike joy, helped decorate the tree, touching each ornament and asking about their colors and shapes. This is the best Christmas ever, exclaimed Ethan, feeling the textures of the ornaments. Chloe, watching Ethan with an affectionate smile, agreed, yes, it's our first Christmas together, and there will be many more, my dear. That night, as snow fell outside, Chloe and Ethan sat at the dinner table. They toasted to love, family, and the future. Chloe looked at Ethan, now her son, and felt immense gratitude. Ethan, you've brought me the joy of being a mother and shown me what truly matters in life, Chloe said, holding his hand. Ethan smiled and squeezed her hand. And you've given me a home, love, and security. You're the best mother in the world. Together, they celebrated a Christmas filled with happiness, love, and hope, knowing that despite the challenges they had faced, they had found in each other the family they had always wished for. That was the story. Thank you for watching until the end, and until next time.